say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication. They wanna say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication now. These niggas say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication. They wanna say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mr. Phillips, how are you, sir?
How you doing, Jay? Doing great, man.
Everybody's been asking about you and what it is that you can do for us. Let me give a little backstory. I do know you. We go way back to our childhood, almost like family. I dare to say we are family. Listen, if you don't know, what I do here is I provide information for the United States postal workers. I have a small following, and I like to give them decent information on how to progress throughout their journey. First thing that happens is a lot of people come from lower paying jobs or different careers. They step into this world and they got to start from scratch. A lot of people need to know how to play with their money because initially they make good money, but they're trying to get themselves out of debt. Once they get themselves out of debt, the first thing they don't want to do is go buy expensive cars or expensive watches or vacations. They try to live the life that I don't even live, and I make decent money. So a lot of them have horrible credit. A lot of us have horrible credit. So tell me what it is that you do and how you think you can help.
Thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate the opportunity. One of the first things that I focus on is credit. Credit is based off of an algorithm, and a lot of people don't understand the algorithm. Because of that, they actually create bad credit for themselves. Second thing that I address is budgeting, because when it comes to your credit, you have to also understand your budget as well, what your income is, what your expenses are, and what you can actually afford. Without that, you're going to run the risk of putting yourself more in debt and decreasing your score, your FICO score. So your FICO score is what your credit is based off of. And the algorithm that is designed is based off of payment history, the amount of credit that you have, and a few other different factors. But the main thing that it focuses on is your credit history, your payment history, and the amount of credit that you actually have currently. So if you have a car payment, if you have 2 or 3 credit cards, but there's a balance to the algorithm that a lot of people don't understand. And because of that, they put themselves in a situation where their credit score either never moves up, stays the same, or drops in small increments. But the point is, they're not utilizing the balance of what they have in the algorithm to make their credit, a higher level. And that's one of the issues that we have, going on with, mediocre jobs or blue collar jobs, things where you're almost living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And one of the things that impact you is by living like that, you're not actually able to properly invest, which stagnates your growth. So one of the things that I teach in financial success and financial freedom is how to create the budget that you need, how to incorporate that into the credit and raising your credit score. And because your credit score is so important, because when you go and buy that car and they're charging you 24 and 22% interest rates, a lot of my clients that come to me, they come to me with interest rates of 22%. One client recently bought a car and their interest rate was 24.69 rate of interest, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
So these are the things that I help people offset to be able to reduce the amount of debt that you have, increase your credit score, which saves you money in the long term. You rather be paying 3% to 5% interest rate on a car, or do you rather be paying 20 to 25% interest rate on a car?
Okay. So I leave your information in my video description, your website, and one of my people say, Mr. Phillips, I saw you on JH's channel. This is what's going on in my life. My credit's bad and I'm looking to buy a house in the next 5 years. Can you help me? Or my credit's bad. I just started about a year and a half ago. I really have no savings. What do I need to do? Are you the guy to help?
Absolutely. So one of the first things that I do, and I do a free analysis of all of the people that come to me, I basically do an overview of what's going on in their budget and their credit. I give a free analysis to see what things that they do need and what things they need to address, and I move forward from there. But yes, I do help, a lot of people when it comes to organizing their credit and organizing their balance and figuring out where they want to be in the time frames that you're talking about. Some people are, 3 years out from wanting to buy a home. Some people are trying to clear up debt. And one of the things that I also help with is seeing where, when it comes to the resale of used cars, a lot of people are being taken advantage of. They're not paying attention to their interest rates and they're overspending in areas where they don't have to. I can help a person refinance that car at a much lower rate that they should have been given in the first place and have an opportunity to save anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple of $1,000 over the years or over the period of the loan.
Nice, nice. So just so you're aware, somebody in California asked you, you're going to be able to help them?
Oh, absolutely. I have clients in California, Florida, ATL, DC. I have a lot of clients in New York, Connecticut, all across. Some in Texas. I'm not too big on the Midwest out there, but I am in Cali. So I think that's like the major area out there to focus on.
So you would be able to help. My clients go all the way from Hawaii all the way up to Maine, out to a couple in Alaska. So yeah. People watching me and somebody says, hey, this is what's going on in my area. Do you have the resources to help somebody? I mean, obviously the FICO score algorithm, that's a nationwide type of thing. But once it comes down to each area, are you able to direct an individual in the right direction? And then what happens after, they start getting that credit score right? And they say, hey, listen, my credit score is going up. I appreciate that. But now I work with the post office. I finally turned career. I know nothing about saving money. They telling me to invest in this TSP, their savings plan. Can you help point me in the right direction? Can you explain this to me?
Well, absolutely. So in terms of helping people in different states, everything that I teach or educate people on and help people with is nationwide. So anything under the US borders, all of it is pretty much all of the same. Some states vary when it comes to aspects of things of dealing with income and taxes. But other than that, everything is basically the same going across America, nationwide. So I can help with that. Credit is going to be the same. Investing is going to be the same. Just your taxes may vary a little bit, but other than that, I can help anybody from, like you said, Maine to California and to Hawaii, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico.
Wow. Okay. Now, as far as what is it that you specialize in? Because
I specialize in credit, and one of the reasons I specialize in credit is because of once you have your credit in order, when you're spending money on things like a car, insurance, credit cards, those things are going to either impact you negatively because of your interest rates that you're paying on it, or impact you positively because you're paying low interest rates on it. A card that versus a credit card that has a 8 or 10% interest rate versus a credit card that has a 22% interest rate is going to impact you heavily because of the amount of interest that you're paying on whatever money you use off that credit card. So those little bits add up. It might be, $10 extra a month, $15 extra on this card, $75 extra on that card. All of these different extras can add up to $300-400 a month in excess that you're losing because you're paying high yield interest on credit cards, car loans. I think one of my clients, they were paying, like I said, a 24.69 interest rate, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
They were spending, it was their total finance charge on a car that cost them $35,000 was they were ended up paying $32,000 in interest. $32,000. That's almost the whole value of the car that you're paying for. So you're almost paying double the value of the car.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Woof.
And there's another hidden gem in that as well. So when people go and buy a car, and I recently had a client, he bought a Range Rover. And when he bought the Range Rover, they tacked on a few different things to the Range Rover, which was a premium package of oil changes for $3,995. And then another tire package of $1,495. You know, in excess, that's a little over $5,000. With a few of the other things that they added in, it became $7,200. Now on that, that gets folded into the loan, and you're paying interest on that.
Yes.
So the interest on that, and the thing was, who wants to pay $4,000 for oil changes? Seriously, like you could go somewhere else and get oil changes. They folded that into the package, and he never realized this.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that done where they try to offer that gap insurance. And I'm like, well, this gap insurance ain't going to work for me because you want me to pay. It's only, you know, extra 10, 15 bucks a month, but that's financed throughout the whole 5 years. Why am I paying interest on some insurance when I can just go to Geico or whoever? So you teach how to correct your credit. You walk individuals from beginning to end on how to get that credit right. Now, I understand you do financial literacy. What exactly does that mean for the layman individual in layman terms?
Well, in layman terms, that's one of the things that it does is educate you about the aspects of banking, investing, and budgeting in very simple terms. These are one of the things that should have been learned in high school, but most people don't know how to put a budget together. You know, what your income is, how much money you're getting after taxes on your out of your paycheck. And then off of that, what are your expenses? Your car, your home, your insurance, all of these things. I help you put it into an Excel spreadsheet so you can actually get to see where you're using your money at, where your money is going. One of the things that I teach in financial literacy that's important is that, you know, you have people that are coffee drinkers. And when I do a review of people's expenses, they end up spending, many people spend $800 or more a month on buying coffee. That is a high amount to pay. You can go get a Keurig and save yourself.
That's me. I have a Keurig. Yeah.
They want to go to Starbucks every day. I'm like, Starbucks is making Starbucks richer and richer, and their coffee isn't that excellent. Do you be spending almost $1,000 a month on that? But it's so small and incremental, they don't realize how quickly it adds up. You're buying a $7 coffee out of Starbucks. You might do that, you know, once or twice a day, and that starts to build up over those 30 days.
Okay.
So with financial literacy, you know, like I said, I want people to understand their income. Be accountable. Being accountable is very important. And that is to be able to actually, like I said, see what your income is and hold you accountable to paying attention to your expenses. Because some people, like you said, they're overspending in areas that they shouldn't be. You know, they'll go buy a $2,000 TV on a credit card, on a high interest credit card, you know, because they want that new 72-inch. But that new 72-inch is going to cost you, you know, maybe twice the cost of the TV that you're paying over the term of that credit card loan.
So here's the kicker, and a lot of my people are probably gonna, you know, hate me for this, but you have children, I have children. So I'm talking about what, you know, one of my knuckleheads. they decide they want to spend this money, and I can't tell them any different. Are you going to be able to? Because if somebody reaches out to you, they're going to reach out to you because they want some help. But again, they're going to be very reluctant to really follow through. Are you really going to be able to break this down for the 25 through the 35? I hate that they probably going to kick you right now, but the 25 through the 35-year-old range, because you can't tell somebody, Tina, that she cannot go get her eyelashes done every month and her be okay with that. Are you going to be able to say, you don't need $50 nails every 3 weeks? Will you be able to reach out and explain this so that they can comprehend? Is that something that you do?
Yes. So one of the things that I share with my clients is a budget sheet. And the budget sheet's basically, you put in the information and it lets you know what your debt ratio is, how much money you're spending, and how much money you can actually afford. And one of the things people start to see is, over a period of time, how long is it going to take me to get out of debt? If you're spending that extra $50 every 2 weeks on your nails, you're extending your amount of debt that it's going to take you to get out by 2 years. Now, are you willing to spend an extra 2 years of working just to make your nails look a certain way? You may want to go a different route. 2 years of working for nails is kind of ridiculous to me. And I definitely understand the aesthetics of women wanting to look beautiful, but you have to circumvent the path that you're taking of how much it costs to the value you're getting and find a workaround. You may be able to have to find a cheaper way or start doing your nails yourself, especially at certain time frames out of the year. If you're living, in a relatively warm or cold place during the winter, you may want to pull back during the winter time on doing your nails because you don't go out as much.
Right. Okay. I like that. So
I help people transform the way they think about how they do things to help them. And a lot of my clients are in their early 20s. And I teach a lot of people in their early 20s. I taught two of my daughters out of the three, financial education and financial literacy to help prevent them from going down the same pitfalls that many kids do. Even when you get into college, the first thing I tell people is that the first people that's going to be at your college on opening day is all the credit card companies. They're going to be waiting there like vultures to give you this card that's 22% interest rate.
See, I like the way you worded that because, again, it's all about reaching out, providing that information, and somebody sticking around to want to receive it. Everybody wants to reach the mountaintop, but will they be willing to take the steps to get there?
Absolutely.
And the key is obviously to be able to give that information and have somebody call you back. Mr. Phillips, all right, we've been working together for 6 months. I appreciate it. We jumped up about X amount of points. Now, can you help me invest my money somewhere, and how?
Yes, I can. So some of the things when it comes to investing, one of the things back to budgeting is really important. You want to be able to invest anywhere between 15 and 20% of your income. From your after-pay work, after you get paid after taxes and everything, you want to be able to invest at least 20% of that. Now, there's different strategies and financial vehicles that I help people with, which is anywhere from the stock market, anywhere from, bonds, crypto. The strategies depend on the person, and everyone is a little bit different for what they're going to be able to tolerate in terms of high risk for high return, low risk for low return, medium risk for medium return, whichever one it is, it's based off of what you can actually afford. Now you're looking to say, hey, if I'm saving 20%, I'm taking 10% of that there and putting it in a high yield investment. One of the investments that I personally think is really, really good is universal index life insurance. And that aspect is something that pretty much guarantees anywhere from 7% to 15% consistently of compound interest. And one of the things I will do with my clients is also explain to them and teach them in my classes that I teach what compound interest is.
Okay. So now you're saying class.
Yes.
I'm a postal worker. I don't have time for class. How am I going to fit you in?
Well, I do have videos that you can watch. The classes are designed in a way to be interactive, because if it's important to you, you're going to figure out a way to make it. Everybody has a flexible schedule, and that's what I work around. People's having a flexible schedule and being able to make it in a time frame that makes sense for them. But with my clients, I give them the information to at least have them read it, review it, and start getting familiar with understanding these layman terms of what financial literacy is. It's like anything. You have to put your energy into it. But this is your hard-earned, labored income, and that's very important to understand. Labored income versus capital gains income. When you're working your body on a daily basis, picking up bags and the postal work is very strenuous on your body. So you want to value that amount of energy that you're putting out to the amount of money that you're getting compensated with. And you want to make sure to invest it properly so you can have a positive return and retire as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. So I'm 27 years old. Somebody told me something about Roth. What is a Roth? Can you explain that? You don't need to explain it to me, but can you explain that? They say the person told me I should be investing my money in a Roth. What is it? And should I do it?
Yes. Well, a Roth is pretty good. I'm a high, in my aspects of financial education, I usually tell people, like I said, a UIL is very good. An IRA is very good. It depends on who you are. For some people, a Roth will make sense, and that's an investment vehicle. And some people, an IRA will make sense. It depends on your level of dedication to what you want to do. Now, IRA is an individual retirement account where you have more access and control over how you're investing that money, because you may be opposed to certain companies, or you may be looking to control your finances better, and because based off of some of the research you're doing. So sometimes I tell people, hey, if you're going to spend a certain amount of time learning about investing, you may want to pay attention to what is being invested in, and that goes into the aspects of dealing with hedge funds. When you're dealing with a hedge fund, which is many of the Roths and these 401ks are in, they're really controlled by hedge funds, and the amount of fees that they're charging you is how they're making themselves richer. And you're still making money, but you're not making as much money as you possibly can.
So you broke it down for the 27-year-old. Yes. Now you got a diverse group of individuals. You have the Latin individual that speaks very little English. Will you be able to relay the message to them? Because I have them all. Remember, I have everybody from every area, and I need to know that once I put my stamp on it, that Mr. Phillips is going to be able to translate whatever information is necessary and be able to help whoever is necessary whenever they call. Because again, this is a 24-hour operation.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't answer 24 hours a day, but will you be dedicated enough to reach each individual on your time and be able to coach them the way necessary and basically help these youth, the younger individuals, have something to look forward to in 15, 20, 30 years? Yes. That's the goal.
Yes, absolutely. So in terms of accessibility to me, yes, it's very easy to get in contact with me. In aspects of dealing with bilingual people, I'm not bilingual myself, and I am one of the things that is universal is numbers. So I can definitely help people with numbers when it comes to that situation. And if they speak little English, we should be able to get along. I will start working on implementing a bilingual assistant to help me with the process of doing an overview and a worksheet for a person that is fully speaking Spanish or another language. Mostly it's going to be Spanish, but That is some of the things that I am working on implementing. But like I said, one of the things people definitely we all understand is numbers. That one thing is a universal language in itself.
Beautiful, beautiful. Mr. Phillips, what I'm going to ask before we close this out is, I'm going to put your information on my channel. There will be a day that I'd like for you to join in, and I'm going to create a full Zoom meeting at a scheduled date, and I'm going to give people the option to come in and join this meeting,
yeah,
and just shoot some questions at you. It'll probably be, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. And would that be something that would interest you?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely am game for that there. And I definitely like the interaction and connection with communicating with people and clients, being able to ask me the questions that they want and relate the information that they're looking for. So I definitely would be open to that there. And that's a good time for me as well.
Okay, that sounds good. In closing, can you give me an overall of what you do offer? Again, for those that, in the most layman terms, credit, keep it going.
Okay, so one of the focus things, like I said, is going to be credit. Want to help you make sure you get your credit in order. If you have a low credit, help you work on either reducing your debt to increase the value of your credit and your FICO score, and help you organize that there. I want to help you understand algorithms so you know how to keep your credit going up, how to keep it safe, how to keep it protected, and what things you have to do to keep it, in a positive light. What things you are to stay away from that will impact your credit negatively, like going over 30% on your credit card. That will impact your credit score negatively, and your credit score will drop once you hit a mark like that. So those are some of the things that I address when it comes to credit. In addition, I do budgeting and money management. And that's important because like I said, you want to know when you're dealing with your credit, you have to know how much access to money you have. What's your cash flow? Your cash flow is basically the amount of money you have after all of your expenses. That's important. And what you have in spendable cash after your savings as well. So there's a buffer in between your savings and your spendable cash that you have to work with. So those are the two main things that I focus on, which is credit and budgeting. Helping them be accountable to their budget will help them value and increase the credit score that they have.
Didn't you help me with my taxes one year?
Yes, I did. I can definitely help people with their taxes. I do taxes. One of the things that varies in taxes is state, because some states are, you don't pay a state tax like Texas. There's no state tax. So everything that they do is just from the federal level. But there's a lot of deductions that a lot of people are not aware of that are important, that reinvest the money that you paid out in taxes for you to be able to get it back. Bring in a bigger refund so you can actually take better care of your expenses, your debt, reducing your debt. If I can help you increase your refund from 10 to 30%, that's more money that you can have to reduce the debt that you have and pay down some of the bills. Increase your credit score. Get a better option when it comes to the interest that you're paying on your vehicle, or reducing the amount of money that you're paying on insurance, because your insurance is looking at your credit score like, hey, you got a bad credit score, we got to charge you more in insurance on your car. Like, these things all impact us in a domino effect. So income, taxes is definitely a part of what I do. It's a short time of the year, but yes, I do help people with their taxes as well.
Okay. Anything else that you can help with? I mean, money's money.
Yeah, there's other opportunities, but once again, like I said, it depends on what people have access to when it comes to their budgeting. And one of the things that, like I said, that I want to focus on is just helping people create a budget. Once they do that, they can actually see the opportunities that lay ahead. One of the things that I do help people with that's very big is I help people start their own businesses. You want to start your own business? I can help you, guide you into that there. from A to Z, talking about learning about the entity, creating a concept, putting that concept to work, and then putting the structure together and moving everything forward. You know, as we all have passions, you know, even side hustles, side businesses, you always want to create a multiple stream of income. So if you're working at the post office and then you have something, you know, 2 hours out of the day, one of my clients today, they was telling me like, yeah, you know, I paint. I was like, oh, okay. They utilize their painting talent to sell their paintings. She's making an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month doing paintings. She's not, it doesn't have to be a long amount of time, but as a business, her investing, her advertising is deductible.
Right.
Her paint brushes, the time she puts in on the canvases, the equipment, all of these different things when she's advertising, just so many different things when it comes to business. Now, as she structured the things or in a more organized fashion, all of those things were deductible. What she paid for the structure, what she's paying for the space that she's using to paint, all of these things, and she's painting from home. So she's able to deduct a portion of her rent on a yearly basis on her taxes because she's using it for business.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we're not going to drag on too long because my audience doesn't have a very long attention span, but I truly appreciate your time, brother.
I truly appreciate you too. Brother Jay, it was an honor. You know, I definitely love the questions. You know, I'm definitely here for them. So, you know, let them know about me and I'll do absolutely the best that I can do for everyone and get them on track with their credit.
I'm gonna have you on frequently, whether it be once a month or, you know, if there's new things that pop up, that way I can keep people up to speed, because especially with this way this economy is going, and doesn't usually affect postal workers. That's one thing that you never see postal workers. Oh man, worried about the gas. Yeah, it bothers us, but you know, we have COLAs that go with it. So, you know, cost of living adjustments that go with it. But it's nice to be able to know, hey, I got somebody that can help me work my money and make the money work for me. And you that man. And I truly appreciate it. If you could, you know, come back in.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have a website that you want to share. I'm going to put the information in the video description as well.
Yeah. So once again, my name is Basir Phillips. My website is www.sumillionaires.com, which is basically the acronym for Startup Millionaires. And the reason it's Startup Millionaires is because I do really push people to start their own businesses. You'll be surprised what them small side hustles can actually do for you. And a lot of people that are actually rich in our country are rich based off of a small idea that they had. And one of them, interestingly enough, was it was a pilot. And what he did was he put the 4 wheels that rotate all the way in 360 around, and he put a patent in for that. And that patent made him billions.
Wow.
So that's a small area right there where, you know, like I said, it's about passion and putting your passion to work and turn it into a business to enrich you and give you more financial freedom moving forward.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. With that being said, Mr. Phillips, JH, I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I enjoy being on here. We're kicking with Jay. So